China, August 14, 2025. Typhoon number 11, Yonglu, internationally named Podul, with ferocious gusts, slammed into eastern China, wreaking havoc across provinces in the region. In southern China, at dawn on August 14th, the sky seemed draped in a heavy sheet of lead. Layers of dark, oppressive clouds pressed down on waterlogged streets, making the whole city feel as if it was being swallowed by a lightless void. The wind howled in bursts, ripping advertising boards from their frames and flipping umbrellas inside out. Somewhere far offshore, Tropical Storm Podul, the same force of fury that had just ravaged Taiwan, was continuing to unleash its wrath on land already exhausted from weeks of relentless floods. At exactly 12:30 a.m., Podul made landfall along the coast of Jiangpu County, Fujian Province, bringing intense gusts despite having weakened from a Category 11 typhoon to a strong tropical storm. Tower-high waves crashed into the shore like walls of white, while the wind's roar drowned out even the blare of emergency sirens. Only hours earlier, at midday on August 13th, Podul had struck Taitung, Taiwan head-on, obliterating everything in its path with winds reaching a terrifying 191 kilometers per hour. More than 8,000 residents in Taiwan were forced to evacuate. One man went missing after being swept out to sea while fishing. A total of 143 people were injured. Hundreds of roads turned into rivers, power was cut on a massive scale, and hundreds of thousands of homes were left in darkness. But as the storm left Taiwan, it did not dissipate. Instead, it drifted northward into the South China Sea, drawing fresh strength from masses of hot, humid air before charging straight into the Chinese mainland. Now, southern China faced a double disaster. Record floods had yet to subside, and Podul was delivering another crushing blow. In Guangdong Province, torrential rain poured down at an astonishing rate of 90 millimeters in just 1 hour. Streets in Guangzhou, Huizhou, and Zhaoqing quickly became seas of water. More than 75,000 people were forced to abandon their homes and move to safety. Between August 2nd and August 6th alone, Guangzhou recorded over 622 millimeters of rainfall, nearly triple the city's August average, claiming at least 7 lives. In Hong Kong, still reeling from the heaviest August rain since 1884, Podul brought a fresh onslaught of gales and torrential downpours. Authorities issued the highest-level black rainstorm warning, shutting all schools, court sessions, and outpatient clinics. The trial of media tycoon Jimmy Lai was postponed, with dozens of his supporters waiting outside in the rain, umbrellas in hand but soaked through. Chaos erupted at Hong Kong International Airport as nearly 20% of flights were cancelled, leaving stranded passengers sprawled across the terminals. The bustling commercial district fell silent, replaced by the pounding of rain on metal roofs and streets shimmering with floodwater. The paralysis didn't stop there. Across southern China, numerous high-speed rail lines came to a halt. Highways in Meizhou, Guangdong were completely closed due to rising floodwaters. All 38 passenger ferry routes in Shantou, Chaozhou, Jiyang, and Heiyuan were suspended. Maritime authorities reported sending 193 million storm warnings to residents, ordering them to stay off the sea. Fishing boats huddled tightly in harbors, their mooring ropes pulled taut like steel chains, straining to restrain the ocean's rage. Coastal cities in Guangdong were on red alert. In Shantou, all major bridges, ferry routes, and ports shut down. Tourist attractions, parks, and museums closed. Over 18,778 construction workers were evacuated. More than 10,000 rescue personnel, backed by hundreds of pumps, lifeboats, and disaster response equipment, were deployed. In Kaozhou, nearly 8,000 residents were moved to shelters, over 3,200 fishing boats brought ashore, and 1,100 crew members spared from danger. In Jiang, more than 8,600 storm defense workers remained on high alert around the clock, ready to respond to any emergency. The challenge was compounded by the overlap of Podul's rainfall with earlier downpours. Land in many areas was already saturated. Mountain slopes had become fragile, awaiting the slightest trigger to collapse. Granite cliffs and thick weathered soil in Guangdong's mountainous counties now carried extreme risks of flash floods and landslides. Authorities warned, people on hillsides must evacuate immediately. Those who had already left must not return until declared safe. Drivers were urged never to cross flooded areas, and campers were told to avoid riversides and coastal areas altogether. Podul's destruction went beyond wind and rain. It triggered a chain of devastating economic impacts. More than a third of incoming flights to Guangzhou, China's textile and footwear export hub, were canceled. Experts warn that storms like Podul are becoming more frequent and more intense due to extreme weather, causing increasingly severe disruptions to the world's second-largest economy. Over 1 million cubic meters of water, equal to 400 Olympic-sized pools, had to be released in an emergency from a Guangdong reservoir to prevent dam failure, instantly inundating entire downstream communities. Worse still, this was not an isolated disaster. In just the past few weeks, China had been battered by a series of natural calamities. Flash floods in Gansu left hundreds dead or injured. Heavy rains in Beijing claimed 44 lives, and landslides in Hebei buried 8 people who remain unrecovered. Scientists say extreme weather is making storms stronger and rainfall heavier. Warmer air holds more moisture, and hotter oceans accelerate evaporation, resulting in torrential downpours and tropical cyclones with staggering destructive power. Now, Podul is moving northwest at 35 kilometers per hour, expected to sweep deep into China's interior, bringing enormous rainfall and the threat of flash floods and landslides across Guangdong, Hunan, Jiangxi, and Fujian. In the mountains, warning sirens blare without pause. In the lowlands, residents watch the river levels rise hour by hour. A vast region waits in anxious suspense for nature's next outburst. No one knows exactly when Podul will finally dissipate, but its impact is already undeniable. A swath of territory stretching from Taiwan to Guangdong, from Hong Kong to Jiangxi, lies in chaos. The wind has yet to die. The rain still falls as if the sky itself has shattered, and humanity remains small and helpless before nature's invisible but merciless force.